coming in hot, chinchy out here in Arizona. What's going on, dude?
Looking good, bro. You got a nice little condo over there. My biggest question of the day, though, is how's the leg feeling, and are you bruising yet?
You know what? It's funny. I'm not really bruising. Dr. Kremchek, there was a reason for it. I can't remember what he said. But he's like, yeah, you're not going to bruise because of this or whatever. But now I'm not really bruised. I feel like it. I'm sitting here right now, like sitting on it really hurts. So like
I can hear you. I can hear like that you're uncomfortable in your voice a little bit.
I'm really uncomfortable. I'm really uncomfortable. Flying out to Arizona was really uncomfortable. But I'm just doing it, man. I didn't want to miss Jake in the combine out here, which I'm excited about today. We're going on MLB Network. I think me and Jake are going on MLB Network together at 1:15. So I'm excited about
Very
that.
cool. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
check
going
that
to
out.
be really cool. Yeah.
Nice.
And then, yeah, man, I just filled out all the stuff for the surgery, Dr. Kremchek, and I know I'm in great hands with him. I think Doc's the best doctor in the world. I've been talking to, you know who's been my therapist? Junior.
Yeah, really.
I called Junior yesterday. He answered. He's like, "What do you need?" I'm like, "Dude, you're my therapist. Tell me about, I got to be on that walker. I got to,
Well, the knee thing, is that the thing where you're like,
yeah, I got to be on a scooter, the knee scooter, because my hamstring has got to be like this. You got to sleep like this with your leg up, So it's just a lot of stuff. He said the first 10 days to 2 weeks is hell. He's like, and then it starts to get better. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So yeah, so that's but it's been cool kind of connecting with Griff
nice.
over this because he's the only guy I know that would understand what I'm about to go through.
Yeah, there you go. Well, also, you might as well keep all the fans. Great job supporting you out there with all the tweets and posts and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's been cool.
Oh man, I appreciate all the support. I really do. Very, very, very kind to everybody. Man, this is not something you want to have when you're 51 years old. Take a torn hamstring off the bones. Never a great thing. But you know what? It was just like I said yesterday. The storms come for all of us, and how you react is the only thing that matters. And all you guys being so kind with the comments and everything like that definitely helps the soul. So appreciate it big time. Yeah.
You'll be good. You're tough. Casey's raised tough people.
We got this, bro. We got this.
Yeah, there you go. One guy who hasn't done something in 22 months, which is pitch on a baseball field. Shohei Ohtani comes back, opens last night, and fair everywhere. I saw like national news broadcasts saying like Ohtani coming back to the mound. It's amazing. It's been 22 months, 21 months after his second major surgery on his right elbow, 18 months after signing that contract with the Dodgers. Comes in, does the opener thing. By the way, he went 2 for 4 with 2 ribbies, which is like, that's the thing, dude. That's the amazing thing. But what's your take on him being back?
Well, first off, it's so great. This is what we've all been waiting for. I guess the fanfare yesterday was incredible. Even Doc Roberts said like he was kind of fanboying in the dugout when Shohei came in from the pen getting ready for the game. That must have been awesome for the fans out there in Dodgerland. I just think, like I said, having that internal brace put in, the new procedure with these UCLs, I think he's going to be better than ever, Chinch. And you saw last night, his first start back, he hit 100 miles an hour against Luis Arraez. It was a ball, but he threw one down. It was 100. He said he was hoping to sit at 95, 96, but he kicked it up to 100. So it's just great. It's a great sign for the Dodgers. It's great how they've brought him back, that they're good enough to not totally have to rely on him. They have that much depth in that rotation. So, it's great for baseball and for Shohei to be two-way. I know he went 50-50 last year and won the MVP, which is incredible. And we were all excited. But the reason Shohei is because he's the first real two-way player, besides Babe Ruth. I'm saying this guy's the first two-way player to ever do what he's done. He's the unicorn that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, how about another little fun fact, dude, which is pretty cool, is like Clayton Kershaw's back and throwing bullets and throwing gems, and you got Kershaw and Otani pitching in the same rotation. I mean, the Dodgers, it is straight Hollywood. It's back to like him being back on a mound, everything, and they are in a dogfight, dude, and the Giants shock the world and go get Rafael Devers, dude. And there's two sides to this coin, obviously. There's what happened in Boston and there's Giants are going for it. So start wherever you want on that.
Well, the Giants have been looking for that bat. They missed on Aaron Judge. They missed on Ohtani. They missed on Correa. So they've been trying to get the big bat. They couldn't land it. But a lot of times, if you can't land it in free agency, you got to be able to land it in the trade. And they felt like they had enough pieces to do it. They gave up Jordan Hicks. They gave up Harrison. They gave up this guy, Tibbs, who was their first-round pick last year at Florida State. Good left-handed bat. So, hey, Big Papi said it the best. I saw him say something like, nobody's indispensable. And if you're getting paid $300 million, you work for the team. You work for the team. So at the end of the day, they brought in Bregman to get better at third because, Devers has been one of the worst third basemen defensively the last 7 years. They bring in Bregman. They're better because of that. They ask Devers to DH. He doesn't really want to do it, but he does it. Then Tristan Costas goes down, out for the year. And they're like, okay, if you can play third, then you can play first. We're in a pinch now because we wanted Yoshida's coming back. He can only DH. So could you play first? And he says, he kind of throws a tantrum a little bit and says, well, I'm not doing that. You guys already asked me to DH, and now I'm DHing. You want me to play first? It's like, hey, dude, you work for the Boston Red Sox. You don't work for Rafael Devers. Who do you think's paying you $300 million? And then when Bregman went down, they say that they asked him if he could go back and play third, and he said no. And at that point, Chinch, you know what? It's time to go. It's time to, part ways. Because at the end of the day, that team is paying you $300 million to be part of trying to win a championship, not for you to, feel comfortable where you're at. You might want to be a little uncomfortable at some point playing first or going back to third or DHing, whatever it is. They paid you $300 million, one of the biggest contracts Red Sox history, to help the Boston Red Sox win. And in my opinion, that means whatever it takes. If the team asked me to play third I would do it. If, I don't know how awesome I would have been, but I would have done it. Whatever you asked me to do, I would have done. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow, and, saw some of their comments saying, as an organization, obviously we have a standard. And the standard is that everyone's on board with trying to win. And if that standard is compromised, you got to move on.
Yeah, you can't have your team turn into like Lord of the Flies and sect off into different things. I'm going to go back. Like one of my biggest memories working in this industry is years and years ago. I was standing on the field. It was at an All-Star game, and I was with Harold Reynolds, and we were standing with a young superstar who had just got rewarded like a big long-term contract. I won't say who it is, and it's irrelevant. But this kid was out there, and the team's owner walks out onto the field, and Harold goes, "Hey, there's your owner over there." And he's like, "Yeah." And Harold looks at him, he goes, "Go shake his hand, man." And he goes, "Well, no, I talk to him all the time." He goes, "You need to shake that man's hand every single time you see him because he just gave you all this money." And I remember like the guy laughing and going, "You got a good point." And the guy walked over and shook his owner's hand and said hi to him. But it made a good point. Like Harold's like, you're paying somebody $300 million. They should really be sweeping, give me a broom, I'll sweep for you. You need to pick up the garbage on the floor, I'll do that too,
Yeah. It just goes to show when the ego gets involved. I always say the greatest definition of humility that I like to quote is, you didn't get here alone. You didn't get here alone. Rafael Devers and all of us didn't get here alone. Rich Cincinnamino, Sean Casey, nobody. There's been people supporting us along the way, because if they hadn't, we wouldn't be where we're at. So you look at a guy like Rafael Devers getting paid $300 million. He said it. Generations of Devers are set for life because the game of baseball exists, because the Boston, he happened to be drafted by the Boston Red Sox, who has the money to give him that kind of money, that contract. Now he has the ability, the eye-hand coordination. Somebody along the way, helped him when he was 14 years old or 10 years old to love the game of baseball, to throw him a million baseballs, to have him hit lefty. All those things. There's so many things that go into it. But when you're playing Major League Baseball, dude, there's something that either you'll humble yourself or the game will humble you, or you'll be humbled at some point. At the end of the day, you got to remember, like, you didn't get here alone, and the Red Sox gave you $300 million because they want you to help them win a championship, not so that you can be happy playing a certain position.
Right. And, Sean Casey, one of your most famous terms, failure is feedback, right? You made the mistakes in Boston. You have a very immediate chance to learn from those mistakes because, first of all, the Giants are paying the rest of your contract. And by the way, they have a Gold Glove third baseman in Chapman who's going to be coming back. He's banged up a little bit. Odds are Chapman should be that lineup will probably be best with Chapman like batting fifth, Devers batting third, and Devers being the DH, and Chapman playing third base for that team. So here you go. You got a chance to kind of learn from where you were and say, hey, I'm in a very similar situation here in San Fran. Let me progress, kind of mature a little bit.
Let me embrace it. Yeah, you're in a very similar situation. Turns out they have a good third baseman too, and they don't want you to play third base either. They want you to hit. You're making that kind of money because you can hit. I mean, Rafael Devers is one of the best hitters in the game. And on the flip side, good for Buster Posey being like, okay, how do we get creative to get the bat that we need? They know they need that bat. Willie Adames hasn't really been that bat, you know what I mean, so far. I think at one point he will be, but he's a great clubhouse guy. You have to overpay, I think seems like right now, for guys to get out there to San Francisco. So Devers is the left-handed power bat. Excuse me. Left-handed power bat, that they've really been looking for in that lineup. So they haven't had a superstar in that lineup in a long time, Chinch. And they're looking for that bat, and they got him. They got him. And so it's a win-win. The Red Sox wanted to move on. I think maybe Devers wanted to move on too. And the Giants needed somebody like him.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and like you said, you got a leader, Buster Posey there. I mean, Buster.
Look at the flexibility.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say him at the top. It's like you could be disgruntled. You're not going to a guy who's never played the game before. You're going to a guy who's been one of the biggest leaders, arguably in the history of baseball, is the boss there. So you're getting pretty quick, I think.
No, there's no doubt. Yeah, when you look at a Buster Posey, there's instant respect there too. There's no doubt about that. So it's going to be interesting, man. It'd be weird seeing Devers in a Giants uniform.
Yeah, well, the happiest team in baseball right now that Devers went there is probably the New York Yankees because he destroys the Yankees.
Yeah.
Destroys
Yankee
Garrett
killer.
Cole's not
Yankee killer. Yeah.
Yankee killer. Now, Yankees, they get some pop back in their lineup. Stanton is finally back he had those, painful injuries, and he's back in the lineup. Got a couple knocks yesterday. But the question is, the Yankees have not been hitting, so obviously they need his bat. But there's a little logjam because you could plug guys into that DH spot. There's one guy getting plugged into that DH spot now, and it's Stanton for the foreseeable future. So the question is, are there enough at bats for Rice and Goldschmidt here? The outfield's going to be tough to kind of, you're not going to get Judge's kind of like day off is usually at DH. So is he going to be playing a little more in the outfield? Boone better than anybody. I think he can navigate this with a positive, as a positive.
Well, having G back is huge for that lineup. We've always seen that. Even last year when he went down, they struggled. I think getting Goldie this year got that other right-handed, veteran bat they needed, kind of like really, really helped out big time. G's not going to play every day. Booney's going to give him some time off. This is a great thing to happen. To have all this thunder on your bench to pinch hit, to give a guy a blow, to have get a guy a day off. When Judge DHs, G will just take the day off. That kind of stuff. It's just a good thing. It just shows how deep the Yankees are more than anything. I think. I don't think I think Aaron Booney does a great job of figuring out who to play, when to play him, how it looks, all that kind of stuff. So, it turns out, just seeing G back's great because I know he was so frustrated. Had a great postseason last year, and then his elbow started to act up. And they've been able to kind of slow play it because they're so deep. So he's, now he's really healthy as opposed to having to rush him back and hope for the best. I think G's been getting a lot of his at bats. Went on a rehab assignment. Hits off the velo machine. So that first hit he had last night, that single was like 111.5 off the bat, just a rocket. Yeah. So it's going to be
amazing.
And
you have guys. Yeah, it is, and they have some like soft platoon plays there. Like Ben Rice kills righties. Goldschmidt's been killing lefties. Like they're when you're giving one of those guys a day off, you're giving them off against an alternate arm pitcher, and they're going to be just fine. It's going to be an interesting run though, because the Yankees people are creeping up on the Yanks right now. Getting Stanton back is probably going to help them a little bit. So There we
Yeah,
go.
no, and dude, I'm telling you, man, he's a big leader in that clubhouse. When he's in the lineup, they're better. Like there's something about G's presence that everybody feels. The coaching staff, the front office, everybody. So
Dude, you could argue that he carried them to the World Series and almost got them a championship last year too.
he really did. He had 7 home runs in 14 games in the
Yeah.
postseason or something.
Yeah, so there we go. It's going to be interesting. I'm very excited for you today. You got to wrap that thing up. Don't make any fast twitch motions when you're excited, like cheering for Jake. I don't want you jumping up out of your seat. All right, be calm today.
Dude, I was thinking to myself, my 51-year-old hamstring. I tried to turn on the jets. Turns out like dust came flying out of the muffler. Like I was like, there was no jet fuel. No turbo boost, dude. No turbo boost.
Boy. Nice. All right. Well, good luck, man.
Yeah, looking forward to going out to the combine today. It looks like it's going to be. And MLB's done a great job with this, and for the players just to be on a big league field too, at Chase Field, it's going to be really cool. So tune in if you can. 1:15, Jake and I are going to be on the set with Greg Amsinger.
There you go. Looking forward to that too. All right, brother.
Love you, man. Love you tons, dude. And thanks to everybody out there for the well wishes and going in for flying us Cincy tomorrow. Surgery on Thursday, and we'll be back talking about it soon.
We should live stream your surgery. I'll do.
Prep would probably do it. Tell you the truth.
That would be amazing. All right, brother.
All right, Casey. See you, bro. See you,